Hey, this is Jeff Nelson. I'm Realtor with IXL Real Estate Eastern Shore, and it is a cold, chilly,
Yes, it is.
raining morning in Daphne today. This is,
Dan Henry with Advanced Mortgage.
we're doing our weekly mortgage rate update. I'm going to give you those rates in a minute, but we're going to hit on the, this is kind of like a part two. A few weeks ago, we did a part one of common mistakes when getting a mortgage, and this is kind of part two because there's a lot of potential mistakes that somebody could make when they're buying a home and getting a mortgage. But anyway, just real quick, we do a lot of videos, so please subscribe if you want to see more of these, and you'll know exactly when they're coming up all the time. But talking about mistakes, because you deal with this every day, I got to thinking, and I want to know your thoughts on it. It's like sometimes it's so easy nowadays with technology that people go online and they start looking at homes before they actually get with you and get pre-qualified.
That's a really good point, and I do see that all the time. You know, people will come to me and they have a house picked out they want to make an offer on, and they're not qualified, and for whatever reason, you know, it's a simple qualification process. So one of the things I stress is, so does Jeff, is, you know, get pre-qualified. It doesn't cost you anything. If you call me, I'm going to get you pre-qualified and tell you what you're able to buy. If there's anything that needs to be done beforehand, that type of thing, rather than coming to me and say, I want to buy this house, and we find out, you know, down the road that you actually can't. So there's a lot of do's and there's a lot of don'ts, and that's definitely one of them. Get pre-qualified first, and there's a couple of other things. Once you do start shopping for a house, and you've been pre-qualified, there's some things you definitely need to do. One is saving money. Don't underestimate the cost of buying a home. There's a lot of initial costs in the beginning. Also, you know, there's things that you don't want to do. You don't want to quit your job. That's part of the pre-qualification process. You don't want to change jobs in the process if it can be helped. Things like that. So very important to get pre-qualified and to save as much money as you can. That's one of the biggest investments people make is this.
Yeah, I every once in a while I'll run into somebody, and there's nothing worse, folks, than to fall in love with a house, and you just kind of estimate in your head what you think you're going to have to pay a month for it, but you fall in love with a house, and then when it comes down to it, you can't afford it, and you can't get qualified for it. So it's very important to get with Dan and get that straight.
And that's a great point. You know, I mean, even when you're pre-qualified, you want to look at the underlying situations. You know, you want to get an insurance quote, you know, sooner rather than later. You want to find out what the taxes are, what the HOA is, so that you're not strapped, or you might find yourself in a position that you can't even buy that house. So, yeah. Excellent point, Jeff.
Yeah, and that goes along with the second question is underestimating the extra cost of home ownership. You know, you got insurance, you got property taxes, you got a potential HOA in a lot of cases.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, other things like just cutting, lawns or like
lawnmowers.
Roof goes out or something like that. So it's important to have all those lined up. Do you have any recent examples of that?
Well, I just had recently somebody wanted to buy a house, had them pre-qualified, and they changed jobs in the process, and you know, it was just a little speed bump in the process because all I had to do was get a letter from the employer that it was just a lateral move, but things like that can be, if they make less money, you know, it can definitely affect the process. There's something called data verify that the processors and underwriters will use throughout the entire process. It'll show anything you've bought, anything that affects your income or your credit during the process. So you want to continue to make all your payments. You want to keep the same job if at all possible, that type of thing.
So even so, in other words, get pre-qualified or pre-approved before you start looking, and then number two, don't underestimate the extra cost of home ownership. Now, chances are you're probably paying the same or less than if you're renting, but property taxes, we can get down to the penny of what that is. We know we can definitely factor that into it very easily. And insurance, we could ask the previous owner what they pay for insurance, so we can get really close on these extra costs are.
Absolutely.
So
and again, we've hit on some of the rough spots, but you know, buying a house done right, it's going to be the best experience that you've had. You're going to make money. If you sell the house, you're probably going to pay less money than you would if you rented a house in this area, Mobile, Baldwin County. So there's just so many pluses to buying a house. Doing it right and doing it the right way is definitely a plus. So,
Sounds good.
all right.
All right, folks, here are the current rates for this week. And as we say every week, Dan can usually do a little better than these. These are national rates. So, but here we are. 30-year fixed, 7.58. 15-year fixed, 6.91. 30-year jumbo, 7.90. 30-year FHA, 6.98. And 30-year VA, 6.99. All right, folks, we are out of here. It's chilly. I'm going to go get my car and turn the heater on.
Likewise.
All right.
Bye now.
Talk to y'all later.